Is this the new pandemic of 2024? Are they trying to bankrupt Donald Trump before he even secures the Republican nomination? All this and more next on Common Sense.
Common sense told us that when you put a big tax on something, the people will produce less of it. So we cut the people's tax rates, and the people produced more than ever before. The economy bloomed like a plant that had been cut back and could now grow quicker and stronger.
Welcome, all of you purveyors of common sense. I am the Common Sense Conservative, and I'm coming to you with another video today. This is about the 355 million or 360 million when you count the 2 million for each of his sons and the 1 million for that executive. So $360 million ruling against Donald Trump. And what's our common sense opinion on it? And what are they actually doing? So, as we all know, in 2020, the pandemic really helped Joe Biden secure the presidency, and there's many theories, many conspiracies, a lot of things out there about how he was able to do that, and one of which is that Republicans just didn't come out to vote as much because Republicans were locked down due to the pandemic, and more Democrats use mail-in voting, mail-in ballots, and that really is what tipped the scale for Joe Biden. So, looking at it in a common sense manner, say the pandemic is what really propelled Joe Biden to the presidency. Well, clearly, he also, during his campaign, used the pandemic against Donald Trump, the current sitting president at the time, to say, well, this happened on his watch. He's the one mishandling it. There's no vaccines. There's no anything. So he really used it to propel his campaign forward, and that the pandemic is causing a divide. So, and he's a great unifier. So if there was another pandemic of the same variety in 2024, then common sense would say that it would be used against him. So therefore, I do not foresee there being another pandemic. So what's the next course of action? Well, the next course of action is $360 million in this New York lawsuit, $80 million to E. Jean Carroll, who can't even remember, that the dress she was wearing came out, I don't know, years after when she said the incident happened. So when you factor all that in, you're looking at $470 million. So let's put this all into a nice little cup for you. It cost Donald Trump in 2020 $454 million to run for president. Joe Biden spent 530 something million, and so these two lawsuits alone cost him the exact amount of what it was to run in 2020. The estimated cost to run in 2024 is over $600 million. So if you're looking at having to pay it, say he goes to appeal, loses the appeal, he has to pay out this money. Well, now there's something about the appeals also, because this money has been designated as a penalty. He has to put this money in order to appeal it, and it's to my understanding, so don't quote me on it, and I'll look into it more. He has to put that money into like an escrow or something of that nature until the appeal is finished. If he wins the appeal, he gets his money back. No harm, no foul. He was just out that money for the length of time of the appeal. If he loses the appeal, then it defaults to whoever this judge said is supposed to get this amount of money. So that's 360 million tied up there, plus another 80 million tied up with the E. Jean Carroll case. That's 460 million, and it's going to cost you 600 million plus just to run for president. That's the estimated cost based upon Real Clear Politics. So when you add all of that together and you put all of that into one little package, you're looking at $1 billion for Donald Trump to run for president. Now, how does that uh, impact or pertain to the new pandemic of 2024? Well, if Trump was to take super donors, which it's evident that he doesn't, he funds 90, I wouldn't say 90%, but most of his campaign out of his own pocket. He finances it plus what he gets from the RNC. And he really just takes micro donation or quote unquote grassroots donations. So when you're talking about the pandemic, quote unquote pandemic of 2024, it's these large, lobbyists, large donations from, super PACs and things of that nature who really control the candidate because they're indebted to them, owe them a lot for getting them into the office they were seeking. Well, Trump can't be controlled. So now, if it's a thought process of mine and a common sense conclusion that if it's going to cost you $1 billion and it's only going to cost your opponent $600 million, you're behind the eight ball. Because out of that billion, already 400 plus million of it is not going to the campaign. So, you're costing out $1 billion. Now, Trump's net worth is $3.2 billion as of 2023, but his liquid assets or cash assets is only $600 million. So, of his cash assets, 600 million, 460 is already designated away due to these two rulings. So that only leaves you, what, $140 million. Well, you need 600 million to run for president in cash. So you see how it's lining up. A common sense thing is they couldn't release another virus. And if they released it at all, it's a conspiracy. But, and it's not my conspiracy. I'm just saying, in general, if they wanted to go the pandemic route, they would have to release another virus, or another virus would have to magically appear. Since we're not talking about that, we're talking like, well, we can't really do that again. It kind of screwed up the entire world, or hope for that to happen again. Instead, why don't we get together and bankrupt our opponent? Now, that makes a lot more sense. We can get a judge who's already ruled against him before the trial even started. We all saw the video of Letitia James stating that. We got a Letitia James who literally got into office on Trump's name. Without Trump, she probably wouldn't even be in office, but she got it on Trump's name. And then you got this E. Jean Carroll who wanted to promote her book, and suddenly there's a 20-plus-year-old case of, assault. So that, my friends, is my common sense take and beliefs that this is the direction they're trying to go. if you notice, when the Fonnie Willis case in Georgia started to fall apart due to improprieties, and the Jack Smith case ain't really going much places, all the efforts of the Democrats, news media, everything, has been on this lawsuit. So, and just so you know where I'm getting these numbers,
Offenses. The
I'll
judge
play
ordered Trump to
this.
pay $355 million,
Judge
just
ordered.
shy of the $370 million James requested. He also barred Trump from holding a position as an officer or director of a New York company for 3 years.
The most recent decision.
So, the reason I wanted to play that is the judge ordered him. He wasn't tried by a jury of his peers. There was no statement in the order of who gets the money, because generally when you get convicted of fraud, you have to pay back the award, plus punitive damages is awarded to who you defrauded. Well, there's no clear evidence of who was defrauded. And then, so now, even if he appeals, $460 million is tied up until the appeals are over. So you see what I'm saying? The common sense take is we can't release something that infects the entire world, because then it looks bad on us. We'll never win. But what we can do is wait until the last possible second. Now, Letitia James in her campaign literally said, when he is no longer president, he becomes a private citizen and we will sue him. Now, if I recall correctly, he no longer was president, January 20th is the official change of powers, I guess, of 2020. So why not bring these charges in 2020 or 2021 or 2022? Why wait till 2023, which is an election cycle, to bring these charges? And then go on national TV and state that the judge has already ruled in your favor before the case began. So why even have the case? That's my whole thing. What, we're going to change the judge's mind? So you see, this, my friend, is the way moving forward. Is find any possible obscure section of the law and sue your opponent into submission. Now, let me ask you, this is where I have to see the other side of, if Trump decided in 2020, you know what, I'm not running for president in 2024. I'm just over it. I'm done. Would these charges that came up? Because I would have to say no, because they didn't charge him in 2020 when he was no longer president. They didn't charge him in 2021. They didn't charge him in 2022. And they waited till the end of 2023 when he was in full swing and picking up steam in the polls to charge him. And that, my friends, that's common sense. Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I read them, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Common sense told us that when you put a big tax on something, the people will produce less of it. So we cut the people's tax rates, and the people produced more than ever before. The economy bloomed like a plant that had been cut back and could now grow quicker and stronger.